Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. It's time to make dinner. We're doing a pasta dish. It is called creamy vegetable pasta. Here's what we need. It will serve 6. So currently at the moment I've got 2 pots of water on the boil and I've got a wok ready to go. So we're also going to need 3 stirring sticks. And come on in and I'll show you the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so as I said, we are serving 6. So I've been slicing and dicing. So first of all, we need 350 grams of large dried spiral pasta. Now I've got 2 different ones in here because I didn't have enough of the veggeroni one. I just brought the similar one. So that's 2 different pastas in there. So that's good because that uses up a packet and starts a fresh packet. 2 cups of thinly sliced pumpkin pieces. Well, that is not 2 cups. That's actually 4 cups. But the thing with the pumpkin is I didn't want to use half of it because I'm not going to use it. And that's going to eventually probably break down to nothing because you can see all that thin air in there. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Hopefully that might get rid of that bottle for me. 1 onion, which I've chopped up. 2 garlic cloves, which are ready to crush. 375ml can of Carnation light and creamy evaporated milk. I got the one from Aldi, which is 384ml, and it's not light, but it's all good. 1 tablespoon of corn flour. 2 cups of broccoli florets. So I've got the frozen ones. When you can't get fresh, it's always good to just buy frozen because then you've got heaps of it for later as well. 1/2 cup of grated cheese. 1/2 cup of roasted cashews. They're not roasted, they're natural ones, but they're all good. And just some grated Parmesan cheese to serve. So, as mentioned, I've got 2 pots of hot water on the boil. So 1 pot of hot water, we're going to cook the pasta. The other one, we're going to put the pumpkin in it for a minute, and then we're going to drain it a minute or until just tender. So the idea is to just really get it started. So we'll get that ready. And then we are going to need, in the wok, which I'm using, we're going to do the rest of it and the sauce. So come on in and we'll show you the stove top. So the one over the back, which is about to come to the boil, is for our pasta. The one at the front is for our pumpkin, and this one here is for everything else. So we're going to, while we're waiting for everything else, we're going to start on the everything else one. So what we need to do is we're going to heat the oil in the frying pan, which, as I said, I'm not using a frying pan, I'm using a wok. And that's mainly because I find the wok good because it's a bigger size one. So I'm going to heat this up. So that's 1 tablespoon of olive oil, which didn't empty the bottle, but it got it pretty close. Into that, we are adding our onion, garlic, and our pumpkin. Well, we can't add our pumpkin yet because it ain't cooked, but we can get started on our onion and our garlic. So with this one, I'm going to be having quite a few veggies, which is good. So that's why I'm not too fussed about using the extra pumpkin. I always do this. I always think to myself, I should just crush one at a time. But you know what? It is big enough to fit 2 in it. Just got to crush harder. There we go. All right, I'll set that aside because I can clean that later. Grab our stirring stick. Okay. So our pasta water is coming to the boil, so we're going to get our pasta to go into that. Now with this, you just cook it until it's done. So it's normally about 8 minutes, I think, from memory. I just taste one and see how it's going, so that's fine. I'll get the pumpkin in shortly because we sort of do need that one to go. But we'll just keep going with the onion and garlic. All right. So as you can see, there's two different pastas. There's one called veggeroni, which is the coloured, I think it's 3 colours of pasta. And then the other one is just the normal colour that you get all the time. All right. I'm going to grab the pumpkin because I reckon that's nearly ready to boil. Hopefully this won't be too full. There we go. All right. Now I've cut it up pretty thin. So we need that to come back up to the boil. And I'm going to use the slotted spoon because with the slotted spoon I can actually remove it. And what I suggest you do with the water is if you've got a garden, let the water cool and then you can water your veggies with it because that'll be good nutrients in that. Who knows, you might revive something that's dying in the garden. All right, once this comes back up to the boil, the pumpkin, I'm going to put the timer on for a minute. So it's not going to hurt to have that in for a little bit longer. So the idea with this is because you've got 3 things on the go, just keep tending to everything every now and again. It's called multitasking. They can't go any higher. They're all on the highest heat that I can get them on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the onion because this is the one that we need to cook the slowest. And at the end, I will show you the recipe so you can sort of judge for yourself how you would do it. Because if you do it the way it says, you'd be cooking the pasta, then you'd be doing the pumpkin, and then you'd be doing the onion. So this way you're doing everything at once. But I mean, if you're just learning and you want to do one thing at a time, then do it that way. But if you want it for dinner, then do it this way. Alrighty. Okay, I'll be back when the pumpkin's ready. Okay, so while we're waiting, I've added the next step, which is open the tin of condensed milk, not condensed milk, evaporated milk. Pop it into a jug and add your 1 tablespoon of corn flour and just give it a whisk. So that'll be ready for when we need it. All right. Our onions, I've just turned the onion off because I don't really want it to burn. Our pasta's going good. That's really starting to boil now. And it's getting soft, which is great. And our pumpkin's almost at the boil. And then we can give that a minute. So we're going good. Okay, so our pumpkin's had a minute. I'm not even going to stab it because it should be done. Actually, I probably should stab it after saying that. Okay, it's feeling soft. So we're going to put this straight over into the wok. It doesn't matter if there's a bit of water on it. So now I've got to turn this one back on a very low heat because I've got double the pumpkin here. And there's a seed there too, lucky me. I don't want the seed, sorry. I know pumpkin seeds are a thing, but not in my pasta, thank you. In we go. Keep adding it in. All right, beautiful. So as I said, let that water cool and go and water some of your plants that are looking a bit neglected, because all those nutrients from the pumpkin will be good for them. All right, there you go. That's that step done. Perfect. I'm going to move that over there so it can cool. Get the knives out of the way. I don't need to stab myself. All right. So now we've got everything in the wok. Just make sure I've got the right ones on. Okay. Give this a stir. All right. So next thing to go in with the pumpkin is going to be our evaporated milk with corn flour. So in goes that one. Okay, beautiful. And our broccoli. Grab your broccoli as well. Okay. It's quite a bit going on there all at once. That's fine though. That's how we roll. All right. Give it a stir. We want to bring this up to the boil now because we've put a few cold things in. So we want this to come to the boil and thicken before we can add the final ingredients, which are the cheese and we're topping it with the cashews and the parmesan. I think I'm just going to put the cashews in it, to be honest. I haven't toasted them, so I'm going to put the cashews in it. I'm not one for garnishing things, sorry. You can put it on top to make it look pretty, but at the end of the day, it's going in. In mine, it's going in. In yours, you can garnish it. Alrighty. That broccoli's still frozen, so it is going to need a little bit longer. Let's check on our pasta because you can sort of see, well, you can't really, but it's becoming very plump, which means that it's probably nearly ready. Okay, pasta's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one on the back one and move the pasta to the front. All right, a little bit of Tetris. Go. The reason why I say that is because that's the bigger hot plate that gets used the most. All right, so turn off the pasta, turn this one. So what we need to do is drain the pasta, put it back into that one because we're going to end up tossing this through that. So I'm going to drain the pasta now. Okay, now that it's coming to the boil really well, I'm going to sprinkle the cheese over the top and add the cashews. If you're not adding the cashews until the top, then don't add them now. That'll sort of help toast them as well. We're just going to give this a quick stir through, and then we're going to carry it over and add it to the pasta. I'm just also trying to multitask with my cleanup as well. Unfortunately, when you cook dishes like this, you end up with a lot of washing up. All right, let's bring it over and dish it up. Okay, stir it through. Now, in we go. Sort of got to try and do this. No, I'm doing it, making it. Well, it looks like some of the pumpkin's stuck. It'll be fine. I'll just have to clean the pan. If you get things stuck and you're not deglazing them, hot water and a bit of bicarb, and that'll actually lift that off. Good to know. All right. Just going to give that a quick stir through. And then we're ready to dish up and eat. Okay, flick it through. Oh, yum. All right. There you have it. This has been creamy vegetable pasta. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you very soon on the next adventure.